Used his radio address yesterday and tomorrow in the Rose Garden to talk about a constitutional amendment to ban gay marriage.
You know, think about this. The world's going to Hades in a handbasket. We are desperately concerned about the circumstance relating to avian flu. We don't have enough vaccines. We don't have enough police officers. And we're going to debate the next 3 weeks, I'm told, gay marriage, a flag amendment, and God only knows what else. I can't believe the American people can't see through this. We already have a law, the Defense of Marriage Act, where we've all voted, not where I voted and others said, look, marriage is between a man and a woman, and states must respect that. Nobody's violated that law. There's been no challenge to that law. Why do we need a constitutional amendment? Marriage is between a man and a woman. What's the game going on here?
Let's try to avoid nuance, Senator.
Do
you support gay marriage?
No. Barack Obama nor I support redefining from a civil side what constitutes marriage. We do not support that. That is basically a decision to be able to be left to the faith and people who practice their faith determination what you call it.
Much later.
Man, I remember he was dropping me off. I wanted to be, I wanted to work in the projects as a lifeguard on the east side of Wilmington. And he was dropping me off on his way to work at the city hall to go get an application to be a lifeguard there. And as I got out of the car at the four corners of the center of town, two men, turns out one going to the Brandywine, one was at work for the DuPont company, the other worked for Hercules company. This was back when I was a kid. And they leaned up and kissed one another. And I'd never seen that before. And I turned and looked at my dad, and he just looked at me and said, Joey, it's simple. It's simple, Joey. They love one another. It's a simple proposition. Rights laws. Ban pride flags from flying on public lands. Who the hell? Oh. Not very presidential. And they threatened.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about lying Joe Biden, okay? Because Joe Biden, anytime his lips are moving, there's a lie coming out of his mouth, okay? Best believe it's a lie. Now, the videos I just played for you guys were Joe Biden lying at a speech that he was given in which he claims that growing up he saw two men kissing. Two men kissing. And his daddy said, that's just love, right? That's just love. Okay, this is the same guy that in 2006, and while he was running as vice president with Barack Obama, said, Barack nor I support gay marriage, right? What's the game going on here? Okay, that's a quote by Joe Biden when asked about the attempt or the conversation, the debate on legalizing gay marriage. He said, what is the game being played here? Okay, Joe Biden used to be based, right? I don't know what happened to this guy, right? I really don't. But I do know that he's being controlled, right? He's an empty suit, and he's coming out here and saying things that, you know, his liberal handlers are telling him to say because he's struggling in the polls, right? Let's just keep it all the way 100. And there's been a slate of new polls from swing states that are showing that Biden is in big trouble, right? He's in big trouble. Like, for example, this poll right here from Arizona has Trump up 5. Georgia, Trump is up 3. Michigan is tied. North Carolina, Trump is up 5. Pennsylvania, Biden's up 1. And in Florida, Trump is up 5. Again, this is a huge deal. And even in a state like Pennsylvania, where you have Biden up +1, it's probably within the margin of error. And again, if you listen to what's going on the ground there, it seems like Biden could be having some troubles. And that state as well, too.
A visit to Philadelphia this afternoon, President Biden announced a new effort to combat climate change.
This is the president's 8th visit to the city this year, and many experts see the Commonwealth as being vital to his reelection in 2024.
But new polling shows Biden may have a problem here in PA. CBS News Philadelphia's Dan Snyder reports.
President Biden making yet another trip to Philadelphia Friday, at least his 15th since taking office. But right now, polling shows Pennsylvanians are looking for more from the commander-in-chief.
It looks better and better for Donald Trump here, but there's a lot of game to be played between now and then.
A Quinnipiac poll released last week shows Biden narrowly trailing former President Donald Trump in a hypothetical matchup in the state. The same poll found Biden's favorability rating among Pennsylvanians sits at just 39%.
I think the polls are showing that people are not happy. Democrats, in fact, are not happy with the job that Joe Biden's doing.
But the Biden camp isn't stressing just yet. Congressman Brendan Boyle, who serves on the Biden campaign National Advisory Board, says sitting presidents have trailed in the past.
Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, and Barack Obama were all losing in the polls. They obviously went on to win re-election and win actually by quite a margin.
Boyle says the president should continue to push his economic message of job creation and low unemployment. But some have questioned the frequent visits to Philadelphia at the expense of potentially rallying support in other areas of the state.
The fact that he has been to our area more than any other president in our history shows how key it is to him.
Jim Schultz, a political analyst and former White House counsel during the Trump administration, says Republicans face their own challenges in the state. Trump, the GOP frontrunner, is seen as favorable by just 40% of Pennsylvanians, and he faces a slew of legal problems leading up to 2024. But both men agree Pennsylvania is key to winning the White House.
If they don't win Pennsylvania, they don't win. The Democrats don't win.
Pennsylvania is the path to the White House, and this president recognizes it.
President Biden spoke here at the Tioga Marine Terminal about federal funding for a new hydrogen hub on the banks of the Delaware River. Coming up at 6, his push for clean energy and why one local group isn't backing this plan. Dan Snyder, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, guys, it is super important to pay attention to the polls, particularly the ones that are coming from the Rust Belt states, right? The states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, etc. And the reason why is because the Rust Belt was the key to Trump winning in 2016. Okay, he won the Rust Belt in 2020 when he lost, right, in quotations. He lost the Rust Belt. Okay, so again, states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, they are very important states that we have to pay attention to, and they are the key to Trump winning in 2024. We also have another national poll here from Premise Data that is another outlier kind of bombshell poll, okay, showing Trump beating Biden by 10 points, right? 10 points, a 10-point stomping, okay, 45-35 of Biden. They also have DeSantis up on Biden by 3 points. But again, in the GOP presidential race, you have Trump up by 45, right, over DeSantis at 15, Ramaswamy at 6, Pence at 5, and Haley at 5. Yeah, not looking good. I mean, you're getting more and more and more of these so-called outlier polls, right? And it's going to get to the point where the polls are not an outlier anymore, okay? And see, here's the thing, right? Even when the polls are close, that's actually a win for Trump because, again, people should understand that Republicans have an advantage in the sense that Republicans don't really need to win the national vote in order to take back the White House, right? They don't need to win the popular vote. They just need to win the key swing states, the Rust Belt states, states like Arizona, North Carolina, Ohio, Virginia, states like that. Again, that's the states that Republicans need to win in order to take back the White House. So again, it is important to pay attention to these polls. And again, the polls are not looking good for Biden. They're looking worse for Biden as time moves on. And you have cackling liberal women like Mary Trump, who is Donald Trump's niece, who's sold her soul to MSNBC for clout, okay, trafficking off of the family name. She's having a full-blown meltdown over the polls and the fact that they are close, right, between Trump and Biden. Take a look.
Mary, we want to ask you today, what have you had it with?
Where to start? I think my answer changes every time I look at the news. But today I read a poll, or I read an article about a poll showing that Donald and Biden are neck and neck. And I know it's early days. I know that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but to me, that is a sign of how far we've fallen.
Right.
You hear about Biden's age. Well, Biden's old. Okay, well, Donald is a racist, homophobic, anti-American traitor who tried to steal election and, by the way, is also old.
Right. And charged with 91 felonies. Right.
Yeah, I know. I see that didn't even make my list.
Right. I mean, but I agree with you. It's really alarming. We live in a red state. We live in Oklahoma City, but in the city, it's purple. So I don't really see like this overt Trumpism. But if you get a little bit outside and into the suburbs, I'm like, oh shit, there they are. And they're for real, because if you live in an urban area, you feel like, oh, okay, yeah, America's good. Everybody's normal. Nobody's I'm around is homophobic. Nobody I'm around is a racist. This is good. We all seem to be fighting the good fight. And then you just get a little bit outside of urban areas and it's jaw dropping what's going on. And then all of those areas add up to be a number that is equal to the populated areas. And it's terrifying because we live in an abortion ban America. So we live in a state where these policies and those Supreme Court justices are impacting women in our state.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Okay, the cope is absolutely hilarious. Okay, I love the liberal tears. I don't know if it's just me, but Mary Trump essentially reminds me of Hillary Clinton with Trump's last name. Okay, everything that she says sounds like it came from Hillary Clinton. She's crying racism, sexism, bigotry. You know what they do, right? Again, they focus more on identity politics, more so than the actual substance in the policies, because they think that voters are dumb. Okay, when comparing Trump and Biden, this bird brain says, well, Biden's old, but Trump is also old and he's racist and he's all these other things. It's like, okay, well, you don't realize the criticism is not just of Biden's age. His age wouldn't matter that much if it wasn't clear that Biden is cognitively impaired, right? He's cognitively impaired. And that's what matters more than anything. Trump is not cognitively impaired. And again, the difference is very, very, very clear. Also, what is the difference is the economy. Again, you have the average family paying $700 more per month than they were before Biden took office. Interest rates are out of control. Mortgage rates are out of control. Housing is unaffordable. Rent is unaffordable. Groceries are unaffordable. Gas is unaffordable. We're about to go into World War III. The border is wide open. Crime is out of control. This is what people are saying. This is the lived experience of regular, everyday, normal people. And again, when contrasting, comparing Biden and Trump, again, this bird brain, the only thing she can come up with is, well, they say Biden's old, but Trump is a bigot, right? And it's like, okay, well, do you think that that's what people care about when they go and vote? I don't think so. I don't think people are going to go to vote and think that, oh, well, Trump's racist. And the people that do go to vote and they vote based on whether or not, Trump is racist, they deserve everything they get, because most likely they're probably in some liberal city and they're voting for other progressive policies that are making their quality of life worse, right? I'm just saying, that's a very stupid way to see politics and voting. I don't care about if somebody is a bigot, right? What I care about is if, they're going to have a good economy, are they going to have good policies? Are they going to be tough on crime? Are they going to try to keep world peace, etc.? These are the things I actually care about. These are the things that Trump excelled at, even though I don't think that Trump was a bigot. But if you're going to try to make the bigot argument, I'm not sure Biden is the one to try to say, well, he's a saint compared to Trump when it comes to bigotry, because Biden has a history of bigotry, just as his VP Kamala Harris, okay, who highlighted Biden's bigotry on the world stage at the Democratic debates during the Democrat primary. So again, it's just fascinating to see these people melt down over Trump, and they never want to talk about the policies. They never want to talk about the results, because they know when it comes to policies and results, Trump is clearly better than Biden. And that's why the American people are showing in the polls that they would much rather prefer Trump than Biden. So again, these people going to cry about it, but I drink their liberal tears for breakfast, right? So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.